Hey there, it's Martin here from Manor Yorke. Just sort my camera out. I'm currently sat in my car in the rain. Very cosy indeed. So I'm enjoying my brew. I came out today hoping that the weather would hold off. As you all know, the weekend has been absolutely gorgeous for Easter. Really hot summer-like weather. But now I think we're getting the spring showers. I came out in my shorts and everything, hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll get good weather. But anyway, this is still nice because I'm sheltered in my little vehicle. I've got my hot brew as well. Brought my pipe along as well down here when I eventually crack it out. And I've also already taken footage of the place I wanted to take a photo of. Well, there's going to be a nice sort of a white van going past just behind us now, unfortunately. So basically I'm sat in Donnington in Berkshire, and this is my first video of my exploration of the south, so trying to get out and see some really nice places in the south of England. And Donnington Castle is basically a very small historical monument, but it's got a fantastic story to it, so I hope you enjoy the footage. Well, I'm going to leave you now with the footage, and hopefully I'll give you some more updates on life and things in another video, and hope it's good. See you in a bit.
Donnington Castle in Oxfordshire could be described as an old soldier's dream castle. It was built by Sir Richard Atterbury, a retainer of the Black Prince and a veteran of the 100 Years' War. This castle was his final residence, and he was given a reward to crenellate his manor house in the 1300s by Richard II. All that remains of this masterpiece, though, is the gatehouse, a very beautiful building, but the rest of the castle is missing. This was destroyed in a great battle in the English Civil War, and this is the story that I'm going to tell. In 1642, Parliament and King Charles I were at war. Gentry had to pick sides, and various castles and manor houses declared for either king or Parliament. John Packer declared his intention to defend Donnington Castle for Parliament. John Boys was a bookish gentleman from Kent. He tasked himself to take Donnington Castle for the king. With the aid of 200 pike, 25 horse and 4 guns, he swiftly assaulted the walls and billeted the castle, refortifying the outdated defences with earthen bulwarks to absorb cannon fire. By 1644 the tide of war though favoured Parliament, and its armies bristling with pikes and guns marched towards the king's city of Oxford. In its way stood Basing House, Banbury Castle and of course Donnington. On the 31st of July, John Boys and his small force were offered terms of surrender from a superior parliamentarian force. But unshaken by the show of force, Boy refused. General Middleton, with 4,000 horse and dragoons, assaulted the bulwarks of Donnington. The fighting was fierce, muskets and cannons were shot down from the lofty turrets, and the Roundheads' mighty force attempted a brutal assault of the defences, but despite their superior numbers, were shattered against it. Colonel Boy's men fought bravely, and after repulsing the attackers, sallied out attacking Parliament's camp, inflicting even more casualties. Having lost 300 men in the assault, the Roundheads were forced to make camp and besiege the castle under the command of Colonel Horton and await much needed artillery support. Boys jeeringly offered them his own terms of surrender. When the parliamentarian Earl of Manchester arrived with guns, the castle had to withstand heavy artillery fire for 12 days. 3 towers of the once beautiful medieval castle were destroyed and the baileys were left in ruins. But in amongst the rubble, the indomitable Colonel Boys remained defiant, refusing to surrender. The king, having failed to relieve Basing House, turned to relieve Donnington Castle. King Charles was so impressed by Boy's defence of the castle that he knighted him and promoted him to colonel. The king, stationing artillery in Donnington, brought his army of 10,000 to face the now combined parliamentarian host of 19,000, and in the vales below the castle was fought the furious Second Battle of Newbury. On the 27th of October, Donnington's cannon supported the battle, firing down into the Roundheads' ranks, but ultimately the field was won by a disorganised but numerically superior parliamentarian army. However, the king's action had dislodged the siege, relieving Donnington Castle, and the king was free to march on London. In November, however, the Parliamentarian armies had regrouped and surrounded the castle yet again. Colonel Boys was given the option of surrender by Oliver Cromwell himself, with the additional threat that if he refused, the castle will be brought into ruin. The defiant Colonel Boys replied, "I am not bound to repair the castle, but by God's help I will keep the ground." For the latter stages of the war, the castle was assaulted time and again, but the defenders held firm with furious bombardment from cannon and mortars. It was only in April 1644 that Colonel John Boys was ordered by the King to surrender to Parliament, and his beleaguered but stalwart regiment could march out with heads held high and honour intact, drums beating and flags flying. Against all the odds, they had kept the ground after 18 months of siege. Sir John Boys retired to his home in Donnington in Kent, where he no doubt told stories of his war years at his hearth. Parliament saw fit to slight the castle which had withstood them for so long, and demolished its walls, leaving the ornamental gatehouse. This vanity project, built by a knight of the Black Prince over 300 years ago, stands now as the last monument to the courage of its defenders.
I hope you enjoyed that. I know I've been enjoying my little day out. I've been currently getting drenched in all the rain and stuff, but it's actually been really refreshing. I've had a little walk down to this little bluebell wood just down from the castle, as well as taking shots, of course, which you've probably just seen in the video. It's actually been really, really nice because I've kind of felt a little bit down in this past week or so. Obviously I don't really get to see Rachel much, and also it's a little bit lonely being down here in the south, where you don't really know that many people and things. And of course you know people at work and things, but it's not the same as having kind of all your close friends and connections that you've made over a long period of time. And this video kind of reminded me of one of my first videos that I did when I started wanting to make historical videos for YouTube. And like just a little video of me going to Thornbury Henge. And it's kind of felt a bit nostalgic actually, this sort of like little lone trip out, tootling around in the car and things. But yeah, so it's good anyway. It's nice to actually get out into the countryside, away from the kind of what I see as a little bit of a built-up area around sort of the Heathrow zone, where you always have like the aeroplanes coming over all the time. And so it's been nice just to escape out into some nice oak woods and see a lovely historic building and things like that. So anyway, this is my first video of quite a few videos of me exploring of the south and trying to find beauty in my new area. And I hope you will enjoy watching them. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope you've all had a great Easter and I hope you're all going to have a nice weekend as well. See you then. Bye.